Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.
Good day, ladies and gents. I'm Emilio A. Colon, and welcome to the EAC Show, coming to you from sunny South Florida for episode 35. I'm joined by Marcus Mack, who's with me on this Zoom call. We're still practicing social distancing. Great episode 34, Marcus Mack. Once again, for you guys, go check it out. We had Juju Phillips, a voice of the Lenore Ryan Bear football team, talk to us about Kyle Duggar. A really, really good interview. I know Marcus Mack and myself had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, we enjoyed
it. Today we're going to talk about a whole lot of stuff with not much to talk about, honestly. We're going to try to make the best of talking about as much sports as we can here on the show. Marcus Mack, why don't you get into the list of the topics that we got to talk about on today's show?
Okay, so today we are going to start off with NBA discusses delay start of 2020-2021 season until December, which is like a 2-month delay. Then we're going into Dana White announces UFC Fight Night lineups for May.
Okay.
Next topic will be judge sides with U.S. Soccer in equal pay lawsuit. And
I can't wait to get into that.
Yeah. And the last topic that we have would be Little League World Series canceled. First time ever. First time ever. And it began in 1947. So that's
sad. I mean, a lot of kids' hopes and dreams, because the thing about that is kids are only, 12 years old once, so they're only going to get that opportunity one lifetime. This is basically missed. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. This is our F It Friday episode. This is basically our uncensored episode where we basically just go all out, balls out, curses, all you name it. We don't say sugar honey iced tea, we say shit.
We say
we say massholes, we say assholes.
We let our hammers hang.
Yeah, on Fridays we let it go. On Fridays we definitely let it go. So we're gonna discuss our first topic of today is gonna be the NBA discussing delaying the start of the 2020-2021 season until December. Marcus Mack, I really do feel like this is a good idea. There has been thoughts previously that the NBA should start in December anyway, because the NBA owns Christmas. As the NFL owns Thanksgiving, the NBA owns Christmas Day. Christmas Day is surrounded by gifts, family, eggnog, drinking, opening up a whole bunch of gifts and spending time with family, and basketball is played all day from 12 o'clock till midnight. Like, literally, it runs the whole day. So I think this is a good idea, but I hope it's more on a permanent basis. I hope they move it from the start in October and move it back to December.
Yeah, I like I told you, I think it's a horrible idea for them to push it back. But first off, I thought it was a horrible idea for them to finish out this season. But I was shocked. I was shocked and appalled that they was pushing it back for what? When does the season start? In October?
The season always starts in October.
Always starts in October.
But
and for them to push it back 2 more months?
But they're thinking about pushing it back so they can try in some way, shape, or form finish this season.
No. So what we're gonna have playoffs in October instead?
They're gonna have like modified something. They're trying to figure it out. They more want to get the games in as possible, because you got to remember, not for nothing, Marcus Mack, the millionaires and the billionaires, because you got two different levels. The millionaires are the players, the billionaires are the owners. The millionaires and the billionaires, they'll be fine. They don't have nothing to worry about. We're talking about concession stands, workers, stuff like that. The lower level people, they need these games.
Right.
These games are their revenues. These games are how they feed their family and pay their bills. So the NBA, not for nothing, while thinking about the bigger picture, wants to put on their show. The workers also need it.
That's putting things in proper perspective.
Right. If you think about it, there's people outside the arena that they rely on people coming to the games as a form of funding in order to provide for their families. So it's a mass scale that's affected. So pushing it back is literally just buying yourself more time to be able to try to recoup some type of revenue, because it was missed during this whole COVID-19 bullshit.
Do you think we'll be back to normal by then?
There's no such thing as normal, and this is just my opinion. It's gonna be a new normal. There's no normal anymore. Like what we're used to previously, that probably is not going to exist. I think people need to get that out of their heads. People are going to be walking around wearing masks even when you don't have to wear a mask anymore, just in case. people are still going to be very wary and very like, you know, yeah, of course, germaphobes, you know, this and it's going to happen. It's going to take some time to get back to what you know as normal. It's not going to be like, even in restaurants, they're going to open restaurants with, you know, 25% capacity soon, social distancing the tables aren't going to be as close, you know, like in all actuality, it's going to take a while for you to actually feel like, okay, my servers bring me my chicken wings and my French fries and my celery sticks and my soda, and she's wearing a mask on her face, so he's wearing a mask on his face. Yeah. So it's going to take some getting used to. But I don't have a problem with the NBA doing this because I respect the NBA's decision of thinking about the bigger picture. And not just thinking about themselves, they're thinking about everybody as a whole.
Right. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's funny you were saying about the new norms. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier about talking to girls. I said, man, talking to girls will never be the same. The new norm would actually be talking to girls off of social media or like talking to girls in person. Because you might see a girl, you wouldn't even know that she's cute because she has on a mask. But so normal has changed completely.
My man in New York went on a Tinder date on Zoom. She sat in her crib. She made dinner. He sat in his crib, made dinner, and they literally eating dinner, talking to each other on Zoom.
Yeah, it's definitely changed. Definitely.
So then we're also going to talk about, now that we're on NBA, we're also going to talk about The Last Dance. It's going to be episode 5 and 6 this Sunday at 9 o'clock on ESPN. 1 through 4 has been great. I mean, every second of it I'm enjoying. Marcus Mack, you sent me something on social media that we're going to get into a little bit about The Last Dance.
With Michael Rappaport?
Yeah, so Michael Rappaport. Right. Shout out to Michael Rappaport. Huge fan of Michael Rappaport. Been a fan for a long time. But Michael Rappaport went on social media and went on a little bit of a rant about this Last Dance documentary, and said that it's a fluff film, basically just showing how Michael Jordan is to the fans and making people like Patrick Ewing look like, oh, he just gets dunked on by Scottie Pippen. He wasn't a great ball player. Or Michael Jordan dropped 63 on the Celtics, but he gets swept, and they glorify the fact that he dropped 63. Michael Rappaport, this isn't your film. This film was filmed by somebody else to give their perspective of one of the greatest players, if not, in my opinion, the greatest basketball player of all time. Period. You can go on your rant. You're entitled to your opinion, but your opinion is not gospel.
Yeah, well, for me, the thing that's so crazy for me with the Michael Rappaport thing, right, or with The Last Dance and his perspective on The Last Dance, is that it's not like The Last Dance didn't showcase the other players on the team. It's not like it's Michael Jordan alone. They let you know that Michael Jordan probably was the top tier number one player. Scottie Pippen was the second player, and everybody had their piece. But there was other phenomenal players in the league at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
but I just The Last Dance is about the Chicago Bulls at that era of the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan and that lineup, that team.
Yeah. I just think Michael Rappaport, Isaiah Thomas, I sent you on social media. Magic Johnson said he's coming out with his own documentary. Everybody now all of a sudden wants their 15 seconds of fame to be extended. They want it to be a little bit longer. You know, I'm enjoying The Last Dance.
Get it while the getting's good. Get it. Just
that's fine. I never knock anybody for how they get their money, but everything has to come in proper time. Like Michael Jordan's documentary was filmed in 1997. He didn't release it until 2020. You know how long he sat on that?
Yeah.
That's like having the winning lotto ticket and waiting till literally the last day you can cash it in to finally cash it in.
Yeah, I wonder. Maybe you could tell me more about it because there was some episodes that I missed. What do you think made him want to release it now?
I mean, the rumor has it. This is a rumor. The rumor has it that he wanted to release it after LeBron James had won the championship with the Cleveland Cavaliers, because he wanted, and this is a true statement, he wanted the world to remember how good he really was. So a viewer or a follower on our Instagram page sent me a DM about how kids nowadays are actually thinking that Travis Scott made Michael Jordan shoes popular. No. Michael Jordan shoes have been popular for many, many, many years.
Yeah.
Like, but this is the thinking of kids nowadays. You know, if you try to show your daughter or my son or some of their friends things about us back in the days, they look at it and they go right back on their phone. They're not even really paying attention. It doesn't do it for them.
Right.
A player like Michael Jordan, as great as he is or as great as he was, nowadays he'd be like, oh, he don't shoot 3-pointers like Steph Curry. You're like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
He don't run the ball like Westbrook.
That's the thing, you know. It's changed, it's evolved. So what Michael wanted to do is Michael really, really wanted to remind people, hey, I'm a bad motherfucker. Like, don't get it twisted.
Yeah. I mean, but I don't think anybody, even in this generation, could take that from Michael. Even if you didn't know, I think
they're trying. They're trying.
You can't. And on top of that, that era was so crazy, you know, for them to get the exposure that they did. Like the Chicago Bulls were superstars, and even, you know, Michael Jordan said, you know, coming into the Chicago Bulls, he was like, man, I wanted them. From a business standpoint, I wanted them to get the notoriety as the same notoriety as the LA Lakers, or, you know, Detroit Pistons,
the Boston Celtics, yeah.
Boston Celtics. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, he came in and set precedent. He came in and he did what he sought out to do. So you can't take that from him.
What a lot of people don't understand, or a lot of people don't get, or they forget, they're easily forgetting, Michael Jordan helped make the game of basketball global. The game of basketball was a very, very domestic game. Basketball, as you know it, was not viewed the way it was viewed before Michael Jordan came to the picture. Before Michael Jordan came to the picture, they used to be taped and then replayed afterwards. Like, it wasn't live. Basketball started to transition to live in that era because of the demand of this player. Michael Jordan took basketball to another stratosphere. That's why they always said that the Commissioner David Stern had a soft spot for Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan helped him elevate the game beyond levels that they could even imagine. Now, of course, there's other players that are part of that, but Michael Jordan was similar to how Michael Jackson and the Beatles were to fans and people out there in the world. Definitely. That's the type of craze that he had.
Yeah, because I don't even think Magic Johnson and players from, because Magic Johnson, that era was right before, right? I don't even think they had the same effect.
No. As I give you a prime example, right? Prime example. When you have a name of something, a product, a player, whatever it may be, and no matter what language you speak, may it be Russian, German, French, Italian, Farsi, I don't care what it is, Punjabi, Portuguese, it doesn't matter. You say the person's name, everyone will know who that person is. You say Michael Jordan, they will know Michael Jordan anywhere in any country, and no one know, like, only indigenous people are not gonna know who they are. It's facts.
Yeah. As far as branding goes, I definitely think Michael Jordan, like I said, Michael Jordan set precedent. As far as branding your name, branding your talent, branding the game, Michael Jordan set precedent.
There's a little snippet for episode 5 that he had a really, really big game against the Portland Trail Blazers. He had a bunch of threes. I don't want to spoil it too much for you, Marcus Mack, when you actually see it. And, you know, Magic Johnson, his friend, was commentating on the game, and Michael Jordan basically explains how Clyde Drexler, who was a player on Portland, was a threat. He was a threat. He was a real threat. He was worried about it. But the fact that they were comparing Clyde Drexler to Michael Jordan drove Michael Jordan, because he felt like it was disrespectful. Like, Clyde is threat. Clyde is good, but Clyde ain't me. So he went out there and he literally told Magic Johnson on the card game the night before at his house, because Magic stayed at his house, I'm going to kill him tomorrow. And that's basically what episode 5 is, showing how he went out there with that. Before Mamba mentality, there's that Michael Jordan mentality. He went out there and he just took over.
Yeah, definitely. So I think it's time for a promo.
Oh, yes, I almost forgot. I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me. This part of the show is brought to you by our sponsor, El Cubano Sandwich Shop. Use the promo code EAC and receive discounts on online pickups or delivery orders. Enjoy a cafe con leche or that natural pre-workout shot of that Cuban coffee to start your day. The daily lunch specials and their steak sandwich is next level. Once again, use the promo code EAC. That's elcubanosandwichshop.com or 954-906-5110. Remember, use the promo code EAC. And that's El Cubano Sandwich Shop in Cold Springs. Marcus Mack, I know we got a couple more topics to get to. Let's get to the next topic.
All right, our next topic is Dana White announces UFC Fight Night lineups for May. So UFC president Dana White announces Friday the official lineup for UFC Fight Night events on May 13th and May 16th in Jacksonville, Florida.
Shout out to Dana White. Shout out to Governor Ron DeSantis for making sure that Florida allows all sports to be essential. And literally, we could just get it moving over here because Dana White is taking full advantage of this.
Yeah, shout out to the loopholes.
He has fights May 13th and May 16th, 3 days apart. Let's go. Let's get this going. Like, let's get this ramped up. He's like, he just wants to put it out there. Let's go. Like, if you got a bunch of, you know what, working for you, you're like, come on, girls, let's go get this money out here. Let's go, you know?
So I think that there will be fights between Anthony Smith and Glover Teixeira, right. They'll headline the UFC fight for May 13th. And there will be a heavyweight fight. I think you're gonna need to help me with these names too. Alistair, Overeem, and Walt Harris.
Yes,
that'll be the headline fight for May 16th.
Hey, listen, not for nothing, Dana White. Shout out to you. I'm glad that you're an entrepreneur and you have that mindset that when somebody tells you don't want to do something, you're gonna keep doing it. You're not gonna take no for an answer. That's the same mentality that we have here on the EAC show. You know. We could have easily, during this corona pandemic, we could have stopped producing shows. We didn't want to stop producing shows. If we would have stopped producing shows, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet Juju Phillips and have an amazing interview with him that we had on episode 34. I mean, in all honesty, I'm telling you the truth. The stuff that we did, I wish we were recording the stuff that we did off camera before we started recording the stuff we did on camera.
Yeah. We ran into a lot of bumps and bruises and, little holes in the ground, but we made it.
So shout out to Dana White and UFC for definitely being a motivator for us because I just love the mentality. I love it. Listen, make sure everybody's safe, test them, make sure everybody's okay, put everybody in proper environments, and let's get it on. Let's get ready to rumble, all that good stuff. It's just, I just want to be able to see some type of content because we don't have anything right now at all.
Everybody's looking at reruns, old games. Old everything, old fights, everything.
I can't do it. I can only watch Mike Tyson knock somebody out so many times. I can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, the draft was definitely a big deal. That was a really big deal for everyone. I think people got dressed in their finest garments to go watch the draft.
I mean, I understand it. You have to. I mean, it's a beautiful extravaganza. Your family worked so hard. So many sacrifices is made. You know, your family taking you to practice, taking you to games, driving you here and there. You know, all that good stuff. So it's definitely something that should be celebrated and it's worth it, you know? So I'm glad they were able to put something for those families because there's a lot of families that work hard and spend time and sacrifice their lives in order for their children to succeed. So these are life-changing moments. So the draft was well done. And once again, this UFC is definitely going to put content and sports content in people's faces, and that's what we need right now.
Definitely. All right, so going on to the next topic, we're going into U.S. soccer. A federal judge in California ruled in favor of the United States Soccer Federation on most of the high key points in the ongoing wage discrimination lawsuit brought by members of the U.S. women's national team player pool, dealing a substantial setback to the players in the high-profile case.
Now, Marcus Mack, this is a very sensitive subject for me. For everybody that follows the show and knows me personally, I have a daughter who plays soccer, and she's very talented. For me to sit there and be on this show and not defend the U.S. women's national team or U.S. women players throughout the United States and throughout the world, all players playing, they should be paid equally no matter what. What a woman does to represent her country, her flag, shouldn't be paid no different than a man. I'm not going to hire somebody to come on the show and work for me and tell them, hey, listen, you know what, you're talent, but because you're a woman talent, I'm going to pay you less than I pay Marcus Mack.
Which is insane.
It don't make no sense.
In my point of view, it's insane.
It doesn't make any sense. If I'm a doctor If and a woman's a doctor, if I make $250,000, then the woman has the right to make $250,000 as well. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Now, I definitely understand, and I know the side of U.S. Soccer. U.S. Soccer makes it look like it. Well, they're two separate entities. The men and the women are two separate. They have two separate. Like they're two separate organizations, so they have two separate collective bargaining agreements. So the way the women get compensated and the way the men get compensated is two totally different things. I understand that, but the women don't get a salary that's high enough to live off of from their domestic leagues. They actually have to get their international salary included in that to be able to provide for themselves and their families. What a woman makes playing domestic soccer in this country, you cannot live off of. You can't. So you need that umbrella to come from U.S. Soccer. And the problem is that they want to sit there and they want to say, oh, well, this is what they agreed on. It's not right. It needs to be fixed. The amount of money that they generate, there's more than enough of the pie to go around.
And I think that's like the major point. That should be the major point. If there is enough revenue generated, then that should be what the defining factor, not whether it be male or female. If once the money is generated, they should be paid substantially. They should be paid equally, not even equal to the men. As long as the money is being generated, they should be paid.
Yeah, I mean, in all actuality, that's what the women fully get it. The women are not stupid. The women are like, listen, we know we don't generate the income revenue that the men generate. The men get $16 million for placing in the round of 16 in the World Cup. And I think the women split like $5 million or $2 million if they win the whole World Cup, which is asinine to me. It doesn't even make any sense. But the point is that you're trying to sit there and say that a woman should be paid less for doing the same exact job that a man is doing representing the country playing soccer. That's completely asinine to me. I have a really hard time trying to understand it. There's a lot of people that's doing the wrong things in this situation. And once again, this federal judge and U.S. Soccer get it wrong once again. There's just going to be more lawsuits. There's just going to be more appeals. These women aren't going to fight. They deserve the right to be able to get paid equally, and I hope they get paid equally.
For sure. I hope so, too. Well, I mean, it's time now. So it went through. The judge ruled in their favor. So they'll get what they got coming.
The judge ruled against them.
No, I just read. Hold on.
No, you read it wrong. The judge ruled against them, Marcus Mack.
Favor of the United States. No, yeah. They read it for he ruled in favor of the United States Soccer Federation. Right.
So they're just gonna
they're gonna appeal.
So now what the ladies are gonna do? They're just gonna appeal.
They're gonna appeal it. Okay.
So let's get into the next. Get into the next topic.
Going into the next topic, Little League World Series canceled, first time ever since 1947. They started doing these games in 1947, so that's almost 80 years. We're talking 50, 70 years.
I mean, it's really sad. You got kids that come from all over the country and all over the world to compete in a Little League World Series. And the Little League World Series is really, really fun. It's enjoyable. Kids get into it. Social media goes nuts. Twitter hashtag Little League World Series. There's always some kid that ends up saying something or breaking something or like a slogan or whatever. I think last year or the year before was this little chunky fat kid. His name was Big Al. And he was like, my name is Big Al and I hit dingers. And it just turned into like this really big thing. So you also get the kids that come from different places. Like you get the kids that come from like Thailand and Japan and whatever, and they come over here, Curacao, and they get to enjoy that United States atmosphere and be able to interact with other kids that they don't get a chance to see. And it's extremely difficult because you only get invited to this Little League World Series one time. So now that it's not going to be put on, these kids are not going to have an opportunity to be able to play in front of all these fans that watch the Little League World Series every year. I mean, it's a packed house, 6,500 fans come to watch it, and ESPN does amazing coverage on it as well. So, I mean, it's sad, but kids, keep your head up. It's not the end of the world. This is not your last game. It's not like you're retiring. You're still going to have multiple opportunities to showcase your talent. It just won't be in the Little League World Series, unfortunately, because of COVID-19. We fucking hate COVID-19, really.
Yeah, it definitely destroyed a lot. Like we said earlier, it's changing the norm completely, and it's changing a lot of people's lives. A lot of people have died. A lot of things are changing, and it's really amazing the way 2020 is playing out so far.
Yo, not for nothing. I think I did extremely well for this being my migraine game, like Scottie Pippen had in the playoff game. Because I'm telling you right now, my head was throbbing when we started this show, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the viewers, all the listeners, Emilio was literally like this. And those who cannot see me, when we first got on the call and we was discussing everything, when we was putting together all the topics, and he was just like, man, my head is gone right now. But let's get to the show. Yeah, you know. Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I just, you know what? I don't want to let people down, because there's people that do listen to this show and they appreciate the content that we produce. Might not be that many, but at least it's some. And you know what? I get feedback on it. People tell me, hey, listen, do this, do that, blah, 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 blah. Well, this is my migraine game, because right now my head is pounding. Like, you have no idea.
Yeah, well, we made it happen. And I believe this will conclude episode 35.
Episode 35 is over. We got the 35 episodes. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. Click, like, subscribe, comment on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. We appreciate the interactions on social media. Keep them coming. We always try to write back as quickly as possible. Marcus Mack, keep doing what you're doing on EAC Kicks. Everything looks great. Go over there and comment, like, subscribe on there as well. Marcus Mack, I'll see you episode 36. And don't get caught watching too much of Cristiano Ronaldo's girlfriend, okay?
Yeah, the whole world is looking at her right now. All right, guys.
Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.